Thank you. And now the representative from Florida, Mr. Haridopolos.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, I'd like to ask for unanimous consent to insert the 2023 GAO study into the record and the 2025 GAO article, New Chemicals Programs could improve safety in better managed plans, if I could, for the record.
So ordered.
Well, first, thanks for taking the time to visit with us today. It's always, as a new member, it's always interesting to get everyone's perspective as we move forward. And what is troubling as a new member is just the number that we see from these reports, where we have this 90-day rule, and 90% of the time, it's not on time. And in the real world, everyone would be fired on the spot. And maybe I'll get into some questions in a second, but it just seems to me that the new technologies that are coming online are going to be better for the environment. I think some of the discussion points that were made by Mr. Corkwell were right on target as these changes are being made. I mean, we see the innovations taking place, but it seems like the agency itself, whether it be for a variety of reasons, but anything else, it's really behind the times and how modern business works versus how the current realities of government. And in some ways, it's the arrogance of it all, that 90 days and everyone just accepts the fact that there's a 10% completion rate. And it's just beyond frustrating. I'm really glad that Administrator Zeldin has taken this new perspective on thing and training people so that they literally embed expertise across the lines as opposed to just one choke point, which seems to happen in many cases. And so I am encouraged by that. But let me just ask if I could, because my concern, as the chairman and I have talked at length, is how do we beat China in space? And if we're always being held up by our own agencies as far as the new technologies and coming online, China will beat us because they are moving through their bureaucratic process quicker than our own. And isn't it ironic that communists are beating us in some areas on bureaucracy? We're more bureaucratic than a communist organization. I mean, give me a break. And so I hope that we can move in this new direction. And it's not just about money, because if it was just about money, the previous administration didn't have any problem spending, yet that 10% number was still there. So I would hope that my question, if I could, is I heard someone mention, I think it was Mr. Meinberg, you'd mentioned that these rules have been in place for a long time, in this 90 days. Then what's your magic number? Is it 95? Is it 120? What's the step that says we can't get it done in 90 days?
Congressman, thank you for your question. One of the nice things about being retired is you're no longer obligated to answer, to have an opinion on that subject. But I will say that when I think about this, I think about the number that was set back in 1976 when TSCA was first passed, which was 90 days. And I have to admit, it occasionally made me think about what would occur if my own personal obligation were to run a 4-minute mile. I could be pushed pretty hard, but the likelihood that I'm going to meet a 4-minute mile is pretty slim.
Well, I mean, you were there 34 years, they read. I mean, you have the opportunity to testify before these committees. Did you say that? Well, so what's the magic number? You've been there 34 years. What's your magic number?
If I were, again, I'm going to.
I mean, we have more technology. We have AI. We have the ability to digest information more quickly than ever, to get the research done. I think it's logical that it should be less than 90 days. So give me the argument the other way that I'm missing. Sure.
The argument the other way is, what happens if you're wrong? There was previously a proposal, and it may have been incorporated to some extent in the earlier TSCA, that if you didn't get approval in 90 days, then it was automatically deemed approved. The problem you have with that is, what happens if you're wrong? Because once that toothpaste is out of the tube, and PFAS is probably the biggest example, once that toothpaste is out of the tube, it's very hard to go back and get it back in the tube. And so consequently, it's a value judgment about how much risk you are willing to bear for a wrong decision.
But I would just say I can make the exact same argument the other side, that the government did approve things that they messed up on, to say the least. So I just think that it seems like the answer too often is we just need more people and more money, and we'll solve the problem. But as this report shows over and over again, that the new technologies should be able to solve these problems more quickly, and it's the private sector that usually has better information than our own government, and they're providing this good information, and it seems like sometimes there's a political agenda there as opposed to a pragmatic agenda, because I'm not going to lose to the Chinese because someone isn't working as efficiently because they know that they can push off a 90-day deadline because there's no consequence for poor performance. So I just hope that it's a logical thing, and I know the chairman is focused on winning this space race, and I think this GAO report affirms what the chairman has said, is that we need to rely on our partners. We have public-private partnerships on everything today, including our space program. We need to be more concert with the private sector to win the technological race that we're in the middle of, whether it be AI or space race. And I think too often we just throw it to, there could be a problem. Well, there's a problem right now if we lose the space race, and that's what I'm more concerned about than anything else. But I appreciate your good work and your time. Thank you. And I yield back.
I thank the gentleman.